And the carts now, you can see from this bridge cam coming out into out of turn 2 into turn 3. There's Piers Lehane, the first one through shot, leading them out. And ever since I said, well, you asked me whether when he raced against Mark Litchfield, who might come out on top early on, and I said, well, maybe Mark Litchfield because he's had good starts, and Piers Lehane hasn't always had great starts. And ever since I said that, he's had brilliant starts, Piers Lehane. So these last 2 starts have been absolutely perfect. So if he can do the same again, once Piers gets out in front, he looks a bit invincible, doesn't he? He certainly did in the last race.
Fair comment, absolutely so. And you know, when he's driving, he has that, even at the fastest pace that he races at, he has that smooth style, doesn't he? Just get just a little bit ragged on the edges if he finds himself boxed in at 5th, 6th, 7th or 8th or something. But he's a very smooth driver, and certainly, like most drivers you would expect if they're way out in front, to be smooth. But Piers particularly so, and that's been a facet of his racing since he was a kid who was only about 4 feet high when we first saw him.
Be interesting to see how Jack Weppering gets on as well. First 2 races from very good grids. He went backwards a little bit, but he had a good run last time out, didn't he? Finished in 5th place. So Jack Weppering, number 236. If he can get a good one here, I mean, he ought to be through. I would have thought he'd have scored enough points to be through and into automatic qualification for the pre-final. So we'll watch for Jack. He's starting the race from the 2nd row of the grid in kart 236, the American driver. One of the many run by Dan Holland Racing. So the carts now coming through down towards turn 10. They're being led around by Piers Lehane, who now backs the pack up, ready for the race start, which Ken Walker's going to talk you through.
Well, just getting a note that Eugene Denason has got brand new tyres on, so not sure how the tyre management has gone there with Eugene's game plan, but he starts on the inside of row 3. How international gets that good start that Chris Hartley predicted, and going through in 2nd place Jack Weppering. So a nice start for Jack. That gives him the opportunity to perhaps shine a little bit, but immediately that looks like Harry Webb gaining a place back. Doesn't take long for Harry Webb to get his act together, does it? This is, however, Piers Lehane, the race leader, the pole sitter as your race leader, pursued by Harry Webb in 2nd place, and a potential move there on kart 236, which is Jack Weppering, is coming, I think, from Eugene Denason. And in fact, 217 moving there was Maxim Weinzierl. It was the wrong call by me. It was Maxim Weinzierl, and that threat has happened to reality. So Harry Webb is chasing Piers Lehane, and Maxim Weinzierl has wriggled himself into 3rd place. And Piers Lehane already got himself about 8 kart lengths lead. Harry Webb has got a bit of chasing to do, but the good news for Harry is he's well clear of the 3rd place driver, which, as I called, was Maxim Weinzierl. Behind Maxim Weinzierl, Eugene Denason with that quick start, and Charlie Eastwood, who's never to be denied. And in fact, has Eugene Denason gone past Charlie? Yes, he has. Or is that Jack Weppering even? Well, not quite sure. Charlie just getting himself in a position where you wouldn't ordinarily find him. It was Eugene Denason, wasn't it? Well, Chris, you semi-predicted a good start for Piers Lehane, and he hasn't let you down.
Harry Webb's coming back at him, though, isn't he, on this 2nd lap of the race? There was half a second difference between them at the start of the lap. There's no way it's half a second anymore. It's come down to maybe 2-3 tenths of a second now. Harry Webb 2nd, Max Weinzierl 3rd coming through shot. There's Alonso karts and colour schemes all the way through the top 6 at the moment, isn't there? The blue and yellow of the double world champion and his karting colours there. The chassis which he manufactures and markets. A warning flag is coming out for
Chris,
218.
I have to say,
Antoine
just
Barton.
like it's insult to injury. Antoine Barton has just got himself from 17th to 15th and got a warning standards flag. As modest as the move was, it's drawn him a warning flag.
Alfredo Zabalza, the Mexican driver, dropping back down the order, almost to the back of the field on that one. Right, the gap has come down to 3 tenths of a second at the start of the lap. It's less than that now coming through the hairpins as Piers Lehane is being wound in bit by bit here. Just nibbling away at him through all the corners is Harry Webb. 3rd and 4th, number 217, Maxim Weinzierl with the red and gold coloured helmet. Eugene Dennison with that really good move on Charlie Eastwood. Bearing in mind that Charlie's the world champion, that was a really determined, brave move coming out through turn 4 over the bridge section of the course from the South African to get through to 4th place. Impressive that was. Eastwood's 5th. Martin Henkel-Mortensen is 6th place. Doesn't matter where he starts on the grid, does it? He always seems to come through into the top 6, the Dane. Terrific racecraft from him. And he's starting to catch up to Charlie Eastwood as well now. So 3rd and 4th working hard to close the gap to the 2 ahead. And Weinzierl and Dennison in 3rd and 4th have both just done their personal best laps of the race. But they're only really slightly quicker than the 2 ahead. Just talking hundredths of a second, really, Ken.
Yeah, although Piers Lehane, just having done a 57.84, was slowest of all of the top 7 until we get down to Peter Betzel in 8th place. So that wasn't Pierce's best lap. Is that perhaps a little bit of defensive driving, knowing that Harry's reeling him in? And now 228, Eugene Dennison putting a bit of a threat onto Maxi Weinzierl, was that? No, it isn't. He's dropped behind Charlie Eastwood. It was Charlie Eastwood in the Tony kart that I saw. So Piers Lehane 1, Harry Webb 2, Charlie Eastwood 3, with Eugene Dennison in 5th, trying to get himself into 4th. Sorry, you go, Chris.
Okay, I was going to say Henkel Mortensen 6th, also in the top 10. Jack Weprin is 7th, Betzel is 8th, Foreman is 9th, and Hom is 10th. 2/10 of a second the difference between the top 2. And winding it up now through turn 3, through turn 4 over the bridge they go. And Lehane being shadowed by Webb. Webb's not going to do anything silly here. 2nd place is going to be fine for him. He's going to be up at the sharp end, isn't he, with a result like that. But what about 3rd and 4th? Getting better and better all weekend long is Charlie Eastwood. He's got the move. Oh, a little nudge, a little tap on the shoulder as he comes past from Charlie Eastwood and gets ahead of Maxi Weinzierl. He now comes under threat from the similar colour scheme of Eugene Dennison, also on the Alonso chassis. So Charlie Eastwood there, it was like a little slap on the back, wasn't it, as he came past there?
He made a hand gesture that was almost a sort of friendly acknowledgement. It was a little
and they did the opposite, yeah.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, and I think he liked the move earlier on, did he, Eastwood? So he's back up to 3rd place. This will be his 3rd top 3 finish of the day. Started off a bit off the pace. What was he, 7th, I think, wasn't he, in his first race, Charlie Eastwood? Not that great in qualifying yesterday, but Charlie has come good in the second part of the day today.
Certainly has. Fastest lap in this one, 57.4 on the previous lap.
Now, what about Harry Webb? He's got the legs here of Piers Lehane, but he's not really attacked. Trouble is, he might have to start thinking about it with his Strawberry Racing teammate gets closer to him in 3rd place.
Yeah, that did look like a potential challenge, but because it didn't happen, Harry's back now with 4 kart lengths between him and the Aussie out in front.
That's right. He had from nowhere, really. It hasn't looked like attacking all race long, has he? And suddenly had to go at the inside of Piers Lehane into the left-hand hairpin, but it was never on. He had to back right out of it, slammed the brakes on, lost all his momentum, and lost a lot of time because of it. So the gap creeps out between the top 2. Heads down, trying to make themselves a bit more aerodynamically stable down the straight. 3rd place is still Charlie Eastwood. Charlie was 3/10 quicker than Harry Webb on that lap. He lost a couple of tenths because of his failed attempt to get ahead of Piers Lehane. Almost wasn't like an attempt. That was almost like he was just trying to stop running into the back of Piers. Piers Lehane still pushing on in the lead of the race. Hasn't looked over his shoulder once, has he, the Australian? He's just getting on with it.
It's in marked contrast to quite a few of the drivers at the front. I don't think that we're going to see from here Piers Lehane slowing them down to do a shall we say, a conservative defensive drive home. I think he's just going to kick for home. And why not? 57.6 is done. Harry Webb's just done a 57.8. So Pierce will feel he's got the legs of the Englishman behind him. This is lap 7 of a 9-lap race. So we're late into the race, the 3/4 race distance into the final quarter. And Piers Lehane's advantage was 0.46 of a second. As they come over now, it's 0.27 of a second. So Harry Webb is, by the evidence of the transponders and by the evidence of the naked eye, getting closer to Piers Lehane. Let's stay with those two as they come off the Litchfield Bridge, down the grade, onto the old back straight, part 1 as it was. And again, Harry just looking a little bit circumspect and going up into, let me see, 5th place from 6 was Martin Henkel-Mortensen. That would have been at the expense of Eugene Dennison. But it's this fascinating scrap at the front that I want to look at. Again, Chris, just as we said, you would say at this moment, there's nothing doing. Harry's not attacking Pierce. He's sitting where he is. But you just sense that things can happen and do. wouldn't like to say that there's nothing going to happen in the next couple of laps because we're coming to the end, or lap and 100 yards. This is the end of lap 8, the final lap. Has he got a challenge on the Aussie? Chris, I think it's got to be pretty now or not at all.
Riding the curbs, Harry Webb, all the way through turn 1 and turn 2. Really clattering quite a high curb through turn 2, lifting both wheels off the tarmac. Charlie Eastwood still about 2-3 kart lengths behind them in third place. Pierce Lane knows he's got to be late on the brakes into these hairpins, otherwise they'll gang up on him. For the first time in the race, he looks over his shoulder with half a lap to go. He's got 1 kart length advantage over Harry Webb. Charlie Eastwood is coming at them. Charlie's not shy in coming forward, is he normally? So he gets a chance, he might go for it. Martin Henkel-Mortensen again on Eugene Dennison. Those two having a real battle there in 5th position. Vineshill still 4th. You've got Jack Weprin, Betzel, Foreman and Home also in the top 10 on this final lap of the race. It's all closing up. Pierce Lane has got 2 corners to go through the left-hander. In towards turn 14 he goes. He's just about got enough in hand here. Harry Webb in 2nd place, under pressure from Charlie Eastwood. But they all behave themselves and come home 1st, 2nd and 3rd. So a 2nd win of the day for Pierce Lane. Harry Webb, a second place finish of the day. He's had 2 wins in 2 seconds. He'll be happy with that. 3rd place for Charlie Eastwood, who's had a win, a 2nd and a 3rd, and a 7th, something like that. So Maxi Vineshill, again, very good, definitely the strongest day he's had so far in the championship. The Austrian will be, I would think, in the top 10 on the grid for the pre-final tomorrow, as will Martin Henkel-Mortensen, who continues to impress. Eugene Dennison as well, the South African. I'd say that's probably his best day of the season so far, isn't it? He's looked very strong. And Jack Weprin did a good job there in 7th place, the American driver, in his first season of Euro Challenge racing, coming home 7th. So a pretty solid day in the end for him. Petra Betzel as well has had plenty of top 10s today. Just ahead of his Czech Republic teammate, Yuri Foreman, in 9th place. Well, not teammate, but countryman.
We know what you mean, Chris.
You know what I mean. Tobias Holm, the Dane, in 10th. So 2 Danes, 2 Czechs, Australian, a Brit, an Irishman, an Austrian, and a South African. Lots of different nationalities represented there within the top 10. Glenn Van Paris, 11th. Ludwig Morin in 12th. Raya Haruka, 13th. It's another finish. Nicholas Tihonen just not going for him. 4th in the championship. He's going to be lucky to be 4th in the championship at the end of this weekend, isn't he, the way it's going?
Perhaps if you look in the bigger picture, the big disappointment is the Finn, Nicky Tihonen. First used to watch him race, as I've said before, in the Academy Trophy, and he was a massive talent. I was ever so pleased to see him come into this series, but it's just wobbling away from him a little bit, isn't it? Yeah, I suppose everybody has a circuit that they can't quite get the setup for. It didn't quite suit their driving style. I don't know the reasons behind it, but we've definitely seen better days from Nicky, who's had a great season so far, which is why we're slightly surprised that the results have been a bit off colour today for the Finn. But we'll see how he gets on tomorrow. So Pierce Lane, he's going to be right up there. We'll have to wait until the supercomputer works out the results. But Pierce, I would have thought, top 3, top 4 for the Australian. He hasn't been lower than 5th today. Harry Webb. And just before we go off, Pierce Lane, a big thank you to Lorraine for tuning in down under. Lorraine, you may well be the furthest distant viewer of that race, as you're just about, a hemisphere below us, down under in Oz. Hope you've enjoyed your coverage, because Pierce has given you some good racing today. Join us tomorrow, won't you?
And there are the results then for what is the final senior race of today. Of course, we've got tomorrow to look forward to as well, with their second chance seat, their pre-final and their finals. The second chance seat's getting underway at 10:10. Then after those 3 races into the pre-finals, and after lunch we'll have the finals tomorrow. So still 2 more races to come, and this should be a fitting way to round out the day, Ken, because while the juniors and the seniors have been terrific, the DD2 class, for my money, provided the best racing so far today, with some absolute crackers, haven't we?
The last time out for both of the groupings, just